What's good, y'all? So, on today's episode of People Who Love Embarrassing Themselves, I have a story of motor mouth NFL wife Kelly Stafford. Now, who is Kelly Stafford, you might ask? Well, she is the wife of NFL quarterback Matthew Stafford, who is the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. Most of you may know him from the Detroit Lions. He used to be the quarterback for the Detroit Lions before he was traded to Los Angeles. And this story is an excellent example of a person just not being able to just read the room, right? To just read a room. And she just excels at just fuck that. She's someone who has a fucking doctorate, a damn PhD, and not being able to shut the hell up. Like, just ridiculous. Now, to give you a breakdown here of the lore, Kelly was on a podcast with Caitlin Bristow, I believe is her name, a few weeks ago, where she basically did all but guarantee herself a divorce, or at the very least, a trip to the doghouse, when she went on a podcast and started to talk about their relationship and how their relationship was before they got married. And she divulges some pretty, crazy information that she should have honestly just kept in the drafts. Like, she should have just kept it to herself. Take a look.
I love that you think it's so great. It started out horrible.
Tell me.
Well, met him, spent like the evening with him, did not let him touch me the first time ever. Or like not he like I was still coming out of high school. I was in a long relationship in high school.
Okay.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take my time.
You're a
whatever.
prude. Okay, got it.
Oh, 100%.
I'm only saying that because I was a huge slut, so that's amazing.
Okay, so already off the rip, we can see a couple of things. We can see wine glasses filled up, podcast mics, relationship talk, 1, 2, 3 strikes, right? Like that right there is a recipe for disaster. Homegirl already admitting that, to being a slut in high school. Like, yeah, we in for a doozy here, y'all. Let's buckle up. Let's buckle the seatbelts up, because it's finna be a bumpy ass ride.
Quarterback of an SEC college. And
What does that mean? I'm Canadian.
Ooh, girl, quarterback of an SEC college is kind of like the quarterback for what's like the Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, he was like, this is fun. I was like, oh, we're in a relationship. This is great. This, because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
I didn't know casual dating.
Wait, so was he trying to casually date and you were all in?
Oh, yeah, girl. And I didn't know what that was. So all of a sudden, we're kind of doing this thing. And then he's like, oh, I see him at a bar one night. And I'm like, what the Anyways, long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him.
Okay, so to me, this sounds like every young and dumb relationship growing up, right? Which makes sense. I know tons of people growing up that had relationships like this. It happens, right? The make up to break up to make up again to break up to I hate you to I love you type of shit when you're growing up, especially in high school. I've seen it tons of times. It happens. But what she says next will have more tomatoes being thrown at her than the Heinz ketchup factory. Take a look at this.
I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Oh, yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy, too. Like, Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him, which it worked, thankfully.
Yes.
But yeah, at first it was
Was that like the pivotal moment in the relationship where he was like, actually, you can't be with him. You need to be with me?
100%. So they lived in the same dorm, because athletes lived in the same dorm, and he would see my car there. And so at one point, he like waited and followed me out and got in my car and wouldn't get out.
Stop.
And he was
like, this is so hot.
I was like, this is amazing. It's working.
Yeah.
I was get out of my car, and he was like, he's not right for you. And I was like, what? You can't tell me that. It's like, get the out of my car.
Yeah.
And there we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed a woman put her foot so deep in her mouth, her teeth are going to start growing bunions. So, out of nowhere, while describing the early years of her and Matthew Stafford's relationship, she casually admits that she would smash his backup quarterback in college in order to make him mad and jealous, which is just it's such a typical thing, that I heard women do, especially when trying to make a guy jealous, which is just, but the thing is, nobody asked for this information. right? You just freely offered this information to the general public like it was communion at church. Now, she went on to say, Matthew was the nice guy and, the backup quarterback that she was fucking around with was the bad boy, right? Which, again, is such a typical thing, right? Like the whole nice guy versus bad boy thing. Such a played out concept to me. But anyway, so the rest of the podcast, she's just going on and it was really irrelevant, right? Now, this clip has been shown all across social media, and once people got a hold of this, people let her have it in the worst way. And rightfully so, because why did you say this? Like, now, obviously, Matt knows about this, right? Like, she just said in the clip that he told her not to deal with the guy and all that. They were in like this little love-hate relationship thing, whatever. So he obviously knew what was going on back then, and they've clearly moved past it. But still, why bring it up again? And this is a prime example. You young whippersnappers out there, you need to pay attention to. And it's who you decide to settle down with and give your time and energy to, because this wasn't just some funny bullshit story that you say on a podcast. It's laughs and giggles and you drink your wine and everybody has a big old belly laugh and you forget about it. If nothing else, this is unnecessary and messy information that the public didn't need to hear. You just made yourself and your famous NFL husband, who still plays in the NFL, by the way, like he still plays quarterback. He's not some washed up 65-year-old guy that, no, like he still plays quarterback in the NFL. He's won a Super Bowl recently. He's made a shit ton of money. Super successful dude. And this is what you do? Now, the crazy thing is, this isn't the first time that Kelly has overstepped boundaries and said something dumb at the expense of her husband's image. Back in 2023, she openly shared on her podcast where she revealed that Matt was struggling to connect with certain players in the locker room, which is not the greatest thing to put out there, that the face of your organization is not quite getting along with the members of the team. That's not exactly A-grade material to be putting out there to the public, especially to the fan base, right? Then to go even further back, when her podcast first launched around like 2021, she talked about how football wasn't fun for her husband and he didn't enjoy playing the game in a very long time, which again is not something that should be put out there for public consumption. This is a quarterback here. I don't think the owners, coaches, and front office staff want to hear about how their star player doesn't really like playing a game that they pay him millions of dollars to play. This is literally elementary stuff right here. There's just no way that someone can be this clueless about the stuff they say. And all of this, I'm sure, was stuff that he, that he talked about with her in private. And she decides to bring it to the public for whatever reason. Not just the stuff that they say, but how it impacts the people around you and in your family. Like there are other instances of her lacking self-awareness, but I'll spare you guys. And honestly, I think you guys get the picture here. What we are dealing with here is a bad case of attention whore. It's spreading like the measles with this chick. Now, I can already hear the Kelly Stafford apologists in the comments saying that this clip was taken out of context and it's not the full thing and it's not that deep and just every excuse in the book. Oh, my question to you is this. If it wasn't that deep and it's no big deal, then why did she apologize to Stafford's backup, one of Stafford's backups? I guess the heat was getting a little too hot in the kitchen and people were going so hard in the paint at her on social media that she issued a public apology to Matthew Stafford's former teammate on Instagram. And this is what she said. To this beautiful fam, I am sorry for the media storm that happened last week that made its way into your lives. You had zero involvement in what I spoke about. And in fact, it was y'all's relationship in college that I looked up to and wanted for me and Matthew. You were the couple that everyone thinks Matthew and I was. Y'all were the UGA being cheerleader that met and never let go. I love y'all. So not only did you embarrass yourself and your husband, but you just negatively impacted the lives of another family by just being messy. And for what? Wanting to go viral, I guess? And get this, The family that she just apologized to, like that guy she just apologized to on her Instagram, wasn't even the guy that she was talking about in the podcast episode. This was another backup quarterback that played behind Matt. That social media mistook for the guy that she was talking about. This guy wasn't even who she was talking about. And now you got him in the crossfire of all this. And now you got him in the doghouse and he ain't even do anything. This man got 3 kids. Like, I still don't know and can't figure out for the life of me why she decided to share this tidbit of information. There was zero reason to do that. That backup quarterback has a wife and 3 kids, man. And you go bringing up old shit for what? Views? Clicks? Mind you, this podcast episode was uploaded on YouTube around like 2 weeks ago, and she's still putting more gas on this already roaring fire. Kelly Stafford just needs to stop talking about this. Straight up. I didn't even know this guy's name until this post, and she just told everyone who the guy was. Or at least, social media thought they knew who the guy was from this post. And so much for keeping it anonymous. I mean, it's just people like this that think they are the main character, and she doesn't realize that her husband is legitimately the only reason that anyone even knows who she is, as far as in the main public eye. Not only did she humiliate her husband, now she's apologizing to another family for involving them in something that had nothing to do with what she was talking about. And I also peep how she apologized to this dude, but not her own husband for making him look bad in this situation. All because of your inability to just shut up. Like, just stop talking. And apparently she's told this story before on her own podcast, which makes this even worse. Why bring this up again? What are you trying to prove here? And no one is saying that Matt Stafford, was an angel growing up and that's not the point here. The point is that you are going around telling this nut ass story that clearly puts your husband in a bad light, and you see no issue with it. I normally try to ignore this type of stuff. Like, I really do. Man, it's really coming down out there. It's pouring. I just heard some thunder. Goddamn. But there was no need for this conversation. All these years later, like, why are we still talking about this? And she's now doubled down and admitted to wanting to be in another woman's shoes. Point blank, nobody's relationship is perfect, right? Nobody's. Seriously, no one's relationship is. But you do yourself no favors by saying stupid stuff like this. There's nothing good that can come from that. Nothing whatsoever. And the reality is that their relationship is none of our business. It really isn't. But going viral can't be worth your family. Like, it just can't be. Nobody is sitting up here saying that Matthew Stafford was this almighty saint back then and he did no wrong. But do you see his ass on podcasts sitting around talking about the girls he used to smash in college? No, because that would be stupid and unnecessary, right? His job is to play football and throw touchdown passes, not play cleanup publicist to his annoying wife and her obsessive inability to try and embarrass him every chance that she gets. It's not a matter of trying to paint Matt to be this saint of a guy, but it's the simple fact that we don't need to hear about this crap. That's it, straight up. That's literally all. But anyway, that's all I'm saying in regards to this. I just had to come on here and speak about it. It was just too viral and too big of a thing on social media, especially with her coming out and apologizing to this family that literally had nothing to do with this. But just crazy, man. People just putting their foot in their mouths, man, for attention. And it's annoying. But if you made it this far in the video, smack a like. And also don't forget to subscribe for the one time. Peace.